CVM News at 7 Wednesday, courtesy of
Your love lives on with life insurance from Sagicor.
Tonight in CVM News at 7, missing 8-year-old boy found dead in abandoned car. PNP proposes regulatory plan for ride-sharing services, including background checks on drivers. Dr. Dawes breaks silence following legal action in drill saga. Compassion opens doors in living the life. In the business report, Sagicor Bank Jamaica's Digital Revolution 2025. And in sports, West Indies clash with England in first ODI on Thursday. From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7. It's Wednesday, May 28, 2025. I'm Nika Lewis. Thank you so much for joining us. A heartbreaking discovery in Gregory Park, Portmore, St. Catherine, where the body of 80-year-old Navardo Blackburn was found inside an abandoned vehicle days after his disappearance Friday, has left residents in mourning. Little Navardo, who was autistic, was last seen on Saturday afternoon playing at a nearby field just steps away from his home. He was then reported missing. However, on Tuesday, the search came to a tragic end when a foul odor led residents to an abandoned car on Milvin Avenue, where the child's decomposing body was found inside. His mother was called to the scene to confirm his identity. Forensic investigators processed the area. Of course, CVM News will have more on this developing story as the details become available. CCTV footage has emerged showing an altercation resulting in one man being shot and killed by a man suspected to be a licensed firearm holder. The incident happened on Tavern Avenue in St. Andrew, leaving residents in shock. The victim received a gunshot wound to his head and was transported to the University Hospital of the West Indies, where he was pronounced dead. The Half-Way Tree CIB is investigating. We will continue to monitor that story for updates. Accountant Dennis Chung has been appointed as Chief Technical Director of the Financial Investigations Division, FID, effective June 2, 2025. The Ministry of Finance, in a release today, says Mr. Chung brings a wealth of experience from his senior roles in the private sector. Most recently, he led Supreme Ventures Services Limited as Chief Executive Officer. Since November 2022, he has served as General Secretary of the Jamaica Football Federation, showcasing his versatility in leadership across different sectors. The release highlighted that Mr. Chung's experience in accounting, corporate governance, strategic management, and transformational leadership makes him well-positioned to lead the FID. His mandate includes combating financial crimes, overseeing the implementation of operational policies and systems aligned with the FID Act, and strengthening asset recovery initiatives in accordance with the Proceeds of Crime Act (POCA). Chung replaces Selvin Hay, who demitted office in July 2024 upon the completion of his contract. We now hear more in this report from Adrian Williams on climate change and the latest from Matthew Samuda's sectoral presentation.
The World Meteorological Organization has reported a continued rise in global temperatures, something Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Senator Matthew Samuda, acknowledges, adding implementing climate-resilient infrastructure is a costly venture.
We expect temperature records to continue to be broken year in, year out, affecting SIDS disproportionately. It is why completion of our National Adaptation Plan and mobilization of finance is indeed critically important. so that members can understand. You have 28 kilometers of Kingston and St. Andrew that requires coastal revetment work. The cost per kilometer is $10 million for something that unlocks no new economic activity, simply protects older investments before. That gives you an idea of the scale of the climate crisis that we face.
With the work to be done to meet international standards in the fight against climate change, Samuda believes
we are on the front lines of a climate crisis and have much to adapt to.
Jamaica is obligated by the Paris Agreement, which has one central aim: to keep greenhouse gas emissions down, resulting in having temperatures below 1.5 degrees Celsius.
This year, Madam Speaker, the government will complete its updated nationally determined contributions. It will complete its long-term strategy for emissions reduction, and it will complete its national adaptation plan, filing them with the UNFCCC as per our obligations under the Paris Agreement.
Forecasts show there will be a global temperature average between now and 2029 above 1.5 degrees Celsius. Adrian Williams for CVM News.
Injecting farming-forward technology into the local agriculture sector is expected to do more than make work easier for rural farmers in hard-to-reach places, but expand the country's production capacity. Agriculture Minister Floyd Green recently announced a series of plans involving tractors and other supplies to enhance farming across the country.
The government is rolling out a major boost for farmers working in hard-to-reach areas. The Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Floyd Green, announced that new tractors will be distributed to targeted production zones where rough terrain has made farming difficult. The minister describes this initiative as a new era for agriculture.
We will be distributing 6 high-powered tractors with implements in targeted production zones. Additionally, we're purchasing 6 walk-behind tractors equipped with plows, planters and harvesters to assist small acreage farmers who are operating on difficult terrain. We're not stopping there. 2 onion potato hybrid harvesters, 4 walk-behind seed planters, 1 rotavator, 6 motorized soil augers for the farmers in South Trelawney, so that they can go up into those terrains and prepare the land to plant the best yam in the world.
Minister Green also says that through various projects, additional tractors will be donated across several parishes.
Under the Hills to Ocean project, we're getting 4 new tractors. In addition, for Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary and St. Andrew. Under the AIC, we have said if you have an agro-park, the agro-park must have a tractor. So this year, we're purchasing 1 tractor for the Plantation Garden River Agro-Park in St. Thomas, 2 tractors for Parnassus in Clarendon, 3 tractors for Bridgepen, Amity Hall in St. Catherine.
In addition to expanding the national tractor fleet, the Agriculture Minister revealed plans to build critical infrastructure to support increased production.
We are also looking to build infrastructure because we have to ensure that we support higher yields, reduce waste, and get greater market access. But, Madam Speaker, we're doing this not in talk, but in action.
He was making his contribution to the sectoral debates on Tuesday. Angela Melville, CVM News.
A 3-card trick. That's how the opposition spokesman on energy described the latest GCT cut on electricity by his government counterpart recently. Here's more in this report. Despite the government's push to reduce the alleged intolerable cost of electricity in Jamaica, the opposition appears unmoved by their efforts. Opposition spokesman on energy, Philip Polwell, says the initiatives have come far too late.
What is amusing about the minister's presentation is that that presentation really should have been given 9 years ago when the government just came into office. They are signaling belatedly the importance of energy to growth, and the fact is that Jamaica has not grown, largely because the energy policy that we had left there was discontinued, and all of a sudden we are hearing the minister now speaking about a number of initiatives.
Effective May 1, a reduced GCT rate of 7% was applied to all energy charges of both postpaid and prepaid residential customers of the Jamaica Public Service JPSCO. The new rate replaces the 15% GCT that was previously applied to usage over 150 kilowatt hours. Paulwell perceives there may be some political ruse in the blend of offerings made by the minister in his sectoral presentation earlier in May.
I believe the issue of GCT on electricity is really a three-card trick, because those persons who were using electricity up to 150 kilowatt hours, they weren't paying GCT. We had removed GCT from their payments. Today, it is now applicable. And while the government has given a temporary reprieve, we believe that is just because of the elections. Right after the elections, if they were to win, then GCT is back on for the majority of poor people. When we win, we'll ensure that no GCT is applicable to those persons who use below 150 kilowatt hours.
He didn't end there, citing concerns amid his short-lived praise for the US $90 million deal inked between Trinidad and Tobago and the state-run oil refinery Petrojam. Under the deal, Petrojam will supply close to 1 million barrels of very low sulfur fuel oil and high sulfur fuel oil to Trinidad and Tobago to refuel ships. Although there's much revenue to be generated, the former energy minister is weighing the cost.
It is a good deal, but because of the indecision about Petrojam, even with that deal last year, Petrojam lost a lot of money. For the first time in many years, Petrojam suffered a massive loss in its operations. We have to, well, firstly, the government has not settled what it's going to do with Petrojam. So there has been a lot of decisions that ought to have been taken to enable Petrojam to have a firm grasp as to the future, to promote more deals like the one that they did with Trinidad. And that is not happening, and the government really has fallen down. 6-7 years ago, there was a report about Petrojam. Now that report has not cleared cabinet.
When asked whether he'd be sharing insights on how to make the deal better, he quipped, the JLP won't be in power much longer, adding, time come. There's more to come on CVM News at 7 in a moment.
Others see customers as numbers. We see our customers as people, neighbors, friends who deserve more than one-sided connections. That's why we're redefining what real connection is, prioritizing our customers and showing our appreciation by putting our money where your loyalty is. Flow customers, get your $20,000 supermarket card when you add postpaid mobile for only $3,700 plus GCT to your current internet plan. That's loyalty that flows both ways.
The craving that makes everything crunch. The crispy barbecue zinger is back with barbecue sauce, cheddar cheese, bacon, and crispy onions. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
I am just a little girl, but I have big dreams. And one day, all my dreams are going to come true. That's why I'm glad Mommy opened a Seaga Bank Star Savers account for me. It's the best gift she could ever give me. Because one day, I won't be little anymore. And my small savings are going to grow big. I even got my own debit card. Give your child a gift that will grow. Open a Seaga Bank Star Savers account today.
Yo, genius! Me just get the Burger King Double King combo. One original chicken sandwich plus a Whopper Junior with cheese. Well, a 2 sandwiches enough. Plus a small fries and soda for only $1,300.
You use the new rubber money. You did say the money can stretch a Burger King.
Me mean you get more food for your money. One combo, 2 sandwiches.
So you want I gotta eat whole a 2 sandwich, brother? My belly can stretch, you know.
Get the BK Double King combo. Limited time only at Burger King.
Thanks so much for staying with us. Major developments are set to transform Jamaica's agriculture and water sectors. Key government ministers have announced bold new projects aimed at improving infrastructure and boosting resilience across the island. Shante McNeil has that story.
Farmers and agri-stakeholders are set to reap big benefits as the government rolls out major improvements in the sector. In his sectorial debate presentation Tuesday, Agriculture Minister Floyd Green outlined initiatives from irrigation to cold storage, with the Essex Valley Mega Facility set to launch soon.
We're establishing one of the largest agricultural storage facilities in the Caribbean. Dedicated cold storage, ambient storage, a puree processing area, and a brine preservation station. This facility is 24,000 square feet and will be able to hold 22 containers of food. And the Prime Minister will officially launch this June of this year.
Green also revealed that Cabinet has approved $23.6 billion for the long-awaited Petro Plains irrigation project, with ground to be broken this July.
We have already mapped 19,000 parcels of land. We have conducted cadastral surveys for 1,000 parcels of land. You know one of the best parts of this project, members? You know the area of St. Elizabeth. For a long time, we haven't had titles for our land. As a part of this project, we will be generating 1,000 titles free of cost for the residents in that belt. And when we break ground, the Prime Minister will hand out 200 that day.
Meanwhile, over 250,000 residents and businesses in western parishes are set to benefit from the Western Water Supply and Resilience Improvement Program. Water Minister Matthew Samuda says its construction phase will begin in the next 3 weeks and expected to last for 3 years, with traffic disruptions expected.
We plead for patience, but this is a generational investment that will solve a lot of the issues that the member from West Central, from Northwestern, from East Central St. James call about daily every time the line collapses. It will significantly support the members from Eastern and Western Hanover, and of course the member from Western Westmoreland, who was on the front lines of the crisis last year, will appreciate this investment. This is not something to come. It is something that we expect to break ground on in the middle of June. And this is a major, major investment, Madam Speaker. And the pipes are in Jamaica. So we are underway with this work.
Shante McNeil, CVM News.
The late Edward Seaga's impact on Jamaica's cultural and political landscape continues to live on years after his passing. On the 95th anniversary of his birth, national leaders gathered to honor the man they say shaped the nation's destiny. Here's more in this report.
The late former Prime Minister Edward Seaga was remembered Tuesday for a legacy built on action and unwavering service to Jamaica's development. During a floral tribute at National Heroes Park, marking what would have been his 95th birthday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness reflected on Seaga's vision, saying without his leadership, Jamaica could have taken a path the nation would live to regret. The reality of this, he says, need to be taught, especially to the younger generation.
We need to properly put that era into context and put Mr. Seaga's contribution into context so that the generations coming can have a better understanding of what truly took place. And it is very important because there is a concerted effort of revisionism to try and write history in the way it did not happen, otherwise called propaganda.
Describing Seaga as a bridge between eras and disciplines, Holness emphasized the urgent need to continue his legacy of purpose and progress.
As we lay this floral tribute today, we do so not in mourning, but in affirmation of a life that continues to shape our own, of a legacy that calls us to build on what he began. And the best way to honor Mr. Seaga is to carry his work forward, to protect our institutions, to invest in our people, and to dream with our eyes open.
Culture Minister Olivia Grange also paid tribute, sharing a major cultural milestone. Following the recent United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization UNESCO recognition of the Wat Town Revival Pilgrimage, she announced Port Royal has now been inscribed on the World Heritage List.
I've received the good news from the World Heritage Center that the evaluation team has recommended that our nomination of Port Royal should be accepted for inscription on the World Heritage List in July of this year. Based on this recommendation, we are very confident that the archaeological landscape of the 17th century Port Royal, Jamaica, will become a World Heritage Site. And this has been the dream of the Most Honorable Edward Philip George Seaga.
Shante McNeil, CVM News.
We take a break. Stay with us.
If when you charge your electric vehicle with JPS, it's even more affordable than gas. Our Charge and Go network offers the fastest electric vehicle chargers, so you can power up in as little as 30 minutes. With over 39 charging points island-wide, you'll always find a convenient place to shop, eat, work, or relax while you recharge. The Charge Lab app and Charge and Go RFID card make it easy to pay and track your charge right from your phone. Start charge. Learn more at jpsco.com/charge and go.
While others see customers as numbers, we see our customers as people, neighbors, friends who deserve more than one-sided connections. That's why we're redefining what real connection is, prioritizing our customers and showing our appreciation by putting our money where your loyalty is. Flow customers, get your $20,000 supermarket card when you add postpaid mobile for only $3,700 plus GCT to your current internet plan. That's loyalty that flows both ways.
Yo, genius! Me just get the Burger King Double King combo. One original chicken sandwich plus a Whopper Junior with cheese. Well, 2 sandwiches plus a small fries and soda for only $1,300.
You use the new rubber money. You did say the money can stretch a Burger King.
Me mean you get more food for your money. One combo, 2 sandwiches.
So you want I gotta eat whole 2 sandwich, brother? My belly can stretch, you know.
Get the BK Double King combo, limited time only at Burger King.
Thanks so much for staying with us. The opposition's health spokesman, Dr. Alfred Dawes, has broken his silence after he was sued by Medical Technologies and MP Donovan Williams in relation to claims made about a $31 million medical drill. He's since found new ammunition for his case, which he highlighted this afternoon.
With a suit made public Tuesday, the opposition health spokesman, who's been relatively quiet, is speaking out, having allegedly seen additional details on the Supreme Court claim filed. He cites an alleged very questionable invoice, which he says indicates a disassembled drill and disposables, each with its own markup, resulting in more questions.
We question why it is that a company would, instead of buying a set that has all the components, would instead go and purchase each item individually at exorbitant prices and then resell them with significant markups.
Dr. Dawes says the health minister posted a similar drill on his socials in which a neurosurgeon demonstrated the uses of the drill and its parts. He insists not only did Jamaicans overpay for the now confirmed EM800 drill, but also received what he deemed a lot of fluff. He questioned the initial intention of the drill in doing orthopedic surgeries, adding the orthopedic attachments were allegedly never evaluated by an orthopedic expert.
Nobody in their right mind would spend that amount of money for those disposables, knowing full well that they can be purchased later on an as-needed basis. It has been said that, and boasted about, that the drill can perform orthopedic surgery as well as ENT surgery. There are no components specially purchased for ENT. However, there are components purchased for orthopedic surgery.
Attachments aside, he went further exploring the newfound information and seeking to justify his initial stance. He explains he saw the suit in the media as he was not formally served, but insists there are more questions than answers still.
A story retold of a couple's encounter back in the 1960s, which opened doors that today still stand as a testimony of an impulsive show of compassion towards an elderly citizen. On second thoughts, however, this good deed might not be so easy to do these days. Oh, how times have changed. Carolyn Brown has this, Living the Life.
Living the life defies time and laws.
I talk about the car provides a home.
Yes, you did. Yes.
Oh, while traveling to Kingston one day, my husband at the wheel, we saw an old man struggling along on foot in the hot sun. I said, "Stop, let's give this old man a ride." My husband stopped, reversed, and picked him up. The man identified himself as an ex-soldier who had served in World War I. He was on his way to see about some land that was given to him for his service in the war, but for which he had little use due to its being so inaccessible. My husband expressed how lucky the man was, since he too had given military service in World War II without receiving any compensation. The old man then advised him of his rights to compensation and told him he should go to Curfew Place to pursue the matter. We went straight away as advised and made out a case that resulted not in lands but in a loan to make a down payment on one of the houses that was being constructed in the new Harborview scheme.
This is where we are right now.
Yeah. This was very significant as my husband was a member of the constabulary force, was at the time being transferred from the country to Kingston. With 5 small children, there was no hope of getting accommodation in the city under such circumstances, and we were at our wits' end. Our pleas to the police commissioner had fallen on deaf ears, except for his advice that such a matter had to be borne with Christian fortitude. The old man's message now took on divine meaning, and we now had a house into which we could move our family.
This is the house. Mm-hmm. This is the house.
This is the house. This is the house. This is the house.
That means it was just under construction, which makes this house roughly how old?
We moved into Kingston and into our new house in December 1961.
That's Living the Life. I'm Carolyn Brown for CVM News. Living the life defies time and laws.
Well, we have Jordan Ford with what's to come in sports.
Well, Nika, some big news in sports today. Of course, you had the story in the news that Dennis Chung has been appointed to lead the Financial Investigations Division, and he will demit office for the JFF as opposed to JFF General Secretary on May 31. So we'll have more on that. Plus, Julian Robinson appointed head coach of Calabar. That Julian Robinson.
Oh my gosh.
Of course. And we'll be talking about the West Indies A losing out in their series to South Africa A. That and much more in sports.
West Indies lost again. Stay with us. There's more to come after the break.
Join my private room. Only $1,000 for a grand time.
That I know me. We never said that. But who going to believe me?
That is correct. $4,350,000. Yes, go ahead. $4 million? I never approved that.
Yes, me I go doctor tomorrow. So me have to get the money today, no longer. Then no me face that. Me never make no record or beg nobody no money.
Deepfakes are AI-generated images and videos made to look and sound like people we know and trust. They're used to spread misinformation, destroy reputations, and are used to commit fraud and scams. Don't fall victim to deepfakes. Protect yourself. For more information, visit broadcastingcommission.org or scan the QR code on screen.
Crispy barbecue zinger from KFC. Available for a limited time. KFC, it's finger licking good.
The time by KFC is...
Thanks so much for staying with us. Now a look at what's happening on social media.
So, what's making waves in our local social media spaces? Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth, Job Creation, with responsibilities for water, environment, climate change, and the blue-green economies, Matthew Semuda, says new hotel developments must now establish pathways to allow public access to beaches previously used by locals. Let's take a look at your reactions. At no me without God rights. Matter of fact, all beaches should be free. At God water. Only thing them do a build building and put gate there to keep us out. At Racer Chick 29 comments, the government needs to set aside public beaches for locals. The hotels that owns land and beachfront properties must safeguard their space for the guests. Safety as it is all over the rest of the world. At Rich Jonior Post, most of the country I visited allow that access. At Arlene Kelly says, people do have access to the beaches. They just can't enter from the resort's entrance. At Felix Protector replies, good luck entering the other way, love. Got a boat? At ITMFTV shares, they shouldn't have to allow residents access to our beaches. We need these companies to work and give back into the communities where they are located. And that's what's trending online today. Continue to share your thoughts with us on X at CVM TV and CVM Television on Facebook and Instagram. I'm Michael Park.
There's lots more to come after this break.
The craving that makes everything crunch. The crispy barbecue zinger is back with barbecue sauce, cheddar cheese, bacon, and crispy onions. KFC, it's finger licking good.
I am just a little girl, but I have big dreams. And one day, all my dreams are going to come true. That's why I'm glad Mommy opened a Seaga Bank Star Savers account for me. It's the best gift she could ever give me. Because one day, I won't be little anymore. And my small savings are going to grow big. I even got my own debit card. Give your child a gift that will grow. Open a Seaga Bank Star Savings account today.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
But what do women really want? I think there's a huge misconception out there about what we really like.
We give off this big bulldog and duppy conqueror energy.
And I didn't realize how much our generation, how much we operate in our masculine. And how much we are decision makers, how much we are go-getters, we are career women, we are figuring it out and doing everything else.
From politics to global events, from social issues to breaking news, Lead Story Prime dives deeper, cuts through the noise, and uncovers the stories that shape your world. Join us every Tuesday at 8 p.m. for Lead Story Prime with me, George Davis, for an hour of incisive analysis, expert interviews, and unparalleled coverage of the issues you care about. Lead Story Prime, your front row seat to the most compelling discussions. Lead Story Prime, where the truth comes first. Only on CVM TV.
So glad you stayed. Another news item ahead of sports. It's been years since houses were built and occupied, establishing new developments in St. Andrew. However, ground was finally broken for the growing population of citizens who have faced persistent water challenges. More from Carolyn Brown.
With an audience target of over 26,000 residents covering the tri-constituencies of Western, West Rural and Northwest St. Andrew, the Prime Minister came with a faith-based message delivered as he broke ground for the long-overdue Ferry to Rock Pond pipeline project, along with a refurbished solar panel project. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation with responsibility for water, Matthew Samuda, laid the foundation, taking aim at the opposition regarding the level of activity in the sector.
The point that I've made is that none of this activity is conducted in empty fields. It's conducted with the product of the investment visible for all to see who have eyes to see.
The Prime Minister also spewed over the still nagging argument of water quality, saying so far no data support the allegation. He, however, rolled out the hose, as he put it, to get to the mind of the public, who would not have it previously, when he attempted to explain to the people who were out of patience, and rightly so, why the land of wood and water does not necessarily have water accessible to all. He poured over the dynamics of hilly terrain, source, pumping needs with a lifespan, to a fall-off from not having a culture of maintenance, to unavailable capital for investment and recurrent expenditure, making sly ripples of delivering what was previously just promises by others.
Was it because they didn't have the intention? Was it because they didn't care? Was it because they're just lackadaisical? No. They didn't have the money. I make this point because we are in the promising season. We are in the season where you're going to be exposed to good intentions all around. You may even be told that you're going to be given a horse that can fly. And some people will believe.
Politics aside,